Yeah, well, hey, how was the buy? Mini buy, and just trying to reset as you get trying to get back here and close out the season.
Many buys always good to get, especially for the guys. Get them in a chance to recover, recruit, get recruit. Excuse me, get you a little bit a little fresher than you were the week before. Hopefully get some people back, do a couple of different things like that. Obviously you get away, you get a chance to look at yourself again, and like we talked about, even during our regular buys, like you look at that stuff weekly, but it's nice to be able to lump some of that stuff together and be able to look at and just kind of evaluate a little bit more than you would on a normal week when you get ready for a team. So doing that over the weekend while getting to enjoy some time at home with the family and doing all the things you need to do just to reset and be ready for the stretch.
In London, is he Drake London? Is he? What's his situation with? Maybe coming back
Day to day, but more hopeful. Get a chance to get him out there, and obviously you got to get to the practice week, and we'll do that on Wednesday and Thursday, and get those guys out there and see where he's going to be able to fit back into it. But I'm very hopeful they can go out there and play for us.
And the penalties, did you? Well, I don't know. Y'all won, so it was like, hey,
No, it's not like, hey, you got to get those things addressed. You can never just excuse yourself for having that many penalties. I think it was 10 each half almost, or whatever the case may be. Some declined. Some you're always going to disagree with, but still no excuse to have that many penalties. You're not supposed to win a football game when you get that many penalties. And the guys actually went out and did a nice job of being able to overcome. Very proud of them for that. But there are definitely penalties out there that you got to be able to stop and you got to eliminate, and we can.
Is that something that the league?
I'm sorry.
The league look at that? I mean, 19 to 4.
All right.
I know that you can't
like a free throw
speak on it.
I try to stay away from the conspiracy theories. I let people look at that as they look at it. I think they fell that way. They were called that way.
Yeah.
Again, you're never going to go through and agree with 100% of the penalties. That's just not a coach's nature. But those guys, as we know, they got a tough job, and they got to go out there and make those calls in full speed and full time. And some of those things they're drawing, some of those things Mike Evans does an amazing job. I mean, we see that all the time when we play him, being able to create contact and get a little bit of acting job to it and get some of those calls called. But it is what it is. Like, I was just proud the guys overcame it.
This will be go down as the Kyle Pitts game from the performance that he had. I mean, I know you've seen sort of flashes of this before, but to the level of this breakout, what did you see that led to it? I mean, was it just about Kirk being able to purposely target him, find him? I mean, was he schemed open more? Why was his night so big?
He was out there as the number one wideout, so to speak. So he got the targets. He got the targets that Drake would get when he's playing. He got those. He got his targets that he would normally get. He was able to go out there and get the plays called to him. He made some early, and when you make those plays early, you show that kind of confidence. You keep going back to him. You get hot, so to speak. It was like when you go out and sometimes you light it up on the basketball court, and you keep shooting. That's kind of what he did the other night. He just kept shooting and he got it going, man. It was a lot of fun to see. It was a lot of fun for Kyle. It was a lot of fun for his guys. It was a lot of fun for Kirk being able to get him the ball. It spilled over into all the other things that we've been talking about. When we've seen glimpses of it throughout the season, at times, and there's always sometimes you want more. And then last, Thursday, he left us not wanting more. He left us really inspired and feeling really good about how he performed.
We asked you about Newsel recovering that fumble.
Oh, what a great play.
Thursday night. I don't know if you've seen that. There's a photo, like a still photo of 7 Bucks around the ball. And Newsel is nowhere even in the photo at that point in time. And he was the one that recovered it. I mean, that is, he's just speak on the kind of the hustle and the
It's one of the play of the game. That's why he got a game ball right after. Something that we preach from our O-line, covering and how we do it, and it's the reason you do it. It's the reason that Dwayne Leverett will probably show that clip before every single training camp, before every single off season. Probably be the first meeting he starts with, and the why and what you do it for. It drives home his messaging on getting those things done and running to the football. I know you guys probably notice it when we do it in jog through, when the guys trot down the field 10 extra yards and then they come back to the huddle. But it's just simulating some of those things that we do. And, you can't get a better example or be more proud from a coaching standpoint of what they created in that room, being able to hustle down the field and get that ball back for his team. Costly fumble. You don't want to have the fumble. Got to get down right there if you're Mooney. But to have him run down the field like that and be able to jump in there and dive in and recover that football. Showed some real skill set from him as well. He got a little wrestling background. Sure you love him for that. He's able to get that ball out, that ball back.
You showed a lot of emotion after the game. What was the kind of reason behind that for someone that doesn't really show a lot all that often?
No, I'm not really into that. You know, it was just it was the moment. It was a great kick. It was the overcoming of all the penalties. You know, my son for him all day, Jay. But it was some of the stuff that you want to be able to go out there and do. And like I was able to have a little fun with the guys, and it was a lot of fun with those guys, man. Doing that in that fashion, in that arena. You know, it was a great environment, great night, and the guys were fired up. I was fired up for those guys.
You had said that after the previous game, you said all we can do is finish, but is part of finishing being looking at what you can set up for the future?
100%, Charles. You know, Charles, all you can do is go out there and like put together what it should look like and how you feel like it should look, and give these guys examples and pump it up for these guys and be able to show these guys over and over again doing repeatable things. And like they went out the other night and did a lot of repeatable things. But there's still always things to clean up. You know, we talked about the penalties, we talked about down the field stuff, talked about people getting opportunities, making the most out of it. Cal, and you know, first and foremost, we just talked about, but big time opportunity for him. He stepped up in a big way, and couldn't be more proud of the things he did and what the team was able to do. You know, from an offense, defense standpoint, all across the board. You know, those guys went out and played really well.
It's maybe easy to lose sight of a guy like Brandon Dorlus in the middle of the defense, but seems like he fulfilled a lot of the promise that we saw in training camp this year. You know, what have you seen from him, and what is like his superpower out there on the field to you?
That's a good one. So, you know, Dorlus, we kind of felt it a little bit last year as we kind of got him going. And then inside, which I talked about to you guys, I believe, off camera, but I talked about how hard it is to play inside of a defense and an offense. And, like, few people can do it. I mean, we've seen Chris Lindstrom doing it on the offense side of the ball and get out there and be an immediate contributor. When you go in there, things happen fast. As we know, you know, Bergeron was one of those guys that was able to do it. So now to watch Dorlus in the second year after going against Bergeron and Chris for a whole offseason, during the season last year, really just becoming a pain in the neck to those guys. And that's when you really start to fall in love with them. And then coming to training camp and being able to get that thing going and recapture that moment of get off, being able to talk about the superpower of being a pass rusher, being a disruptor, and he's certainly been able to do those things, right? I think he has 8 sacks or so, a bunch of different disruption. He's been able to play up and down the line of scrimmage, whether he's been at end, whether he's been at 3 technique, whether he's been at nose, whether he's been at 4-eye, 5 technique. He's done a lot of different things. He is so versatile, and he's certainly worked himself into becoming this chess piece that you can use in your pass rush settings. You can put him in stuff for movement and the running downs. He's definitely strong enough to use his hands to be able to shed blocks and make plays. He's coming to his own, and you've seen it happening during training camp. You know, if you're watching even before that, talking about in the last year, you know, on scout team, and now he is really playing at a very high level, and he's displaying some ultimate toughness, being able to go out there every single week and play that way.
What is his development meant for the guys on the outside? Because the rookies, of course, Jalen and James are going to get a lot of the credit for being able to get back there and get some sacks. But when it comes to Dorlus and Rook and those guys in the middle, what kind of impact do those guys have?
They are definitely, you know, the major part of it. You know, D.O., we talk about the young guys now, so I leave D.O. and guys like that out of it. But, like, you know, Rook and Dorlus going out there, being able to put some consistent snaps down and down out. You know, obviously there are going to be corrections to both of their games all the time, but, like, being able to go out there and play with that motor, that energy that they're able to play with right now, the get-off mentality, the being able to switch down between 4-down and 5-down fronts, giving us the versatility to be able to do all those things with those guys, having a unique skill set of being smart enough to line yourself up, smart enough to make a lot of the adjustments. Those guys are really clicking at a very high level when it comes to those things. You're always going to want more from all of those guys, and it's like you'll take their time giving you more. Right now, Dorlus is giving us the most. Rook is giving us great movement on the pass rush, giving us great movement when it comes to some quickness, some elite things. There's always going to be things you want to get better, but I'm really proud of the second-year players along with the first-year players, and then some of the unknowns that people probably didn't know about, like the Londons, Lacals, and guys of that nature coming out to being able to help us. You know, we had help from contributions from Sam Roberts early, got some from Lau, got some a little bit from a bunch of different people. So, like, really fired about where that group's going.
Rob, we've had a good sample size of Kirk now running the offense, and some people only focus on the wins, and some people focus on the numbers, but I agree with you in this case, that's for losers when it comes to evaluating what we've seen with the offense.
Sure.
And I say that because it just looks different, it feels different. You know, it's hard to, you know, quantify this, but Like, the decision to move on from Kirk last year and make it a permanent one as opposed to possibly opening it up to a competition and everything, I mean, is it, with the benefit of hindsight, seeing what Kirk can do and where the offense and the heights of it, where it could be, does it feel like it's, in hindsight, it was the best decision overall for the organization?
Of course, none of those things are taken lightly, particularly when you're talking about that position, right? And you're talking about, let's go back to last year when he lost the job. I mean, that was a hard decision to make in that moment. You made it. Michael went out, played really well. You go into an offseason, and you can say it's a competition, but it's not, right? Those guys are going out there playing against each other, and they both played really well. We got a chance to watch it in training camp. We got a chance to watch it throughout the practices. And then you start the season, and then Michael gets hurt, and Kurt has to go in, and he's done a nice job. And I'm not shocked by Kurt going to do a really nice job. That's what he was brought here to do. That's what he was brought here to play like. And he got his confidence back, got a lot of stuff back, feels a lot better, playing a lot better, playing a lot faster. Second year in the system for him, and he looks good. And I'm extremely proud of him. And like the guys around him are playing well. He's playing well. He's playing efficient. More importantly, and those are things that are happening for us. Being able to move the ball down the field efficiently when we don't get penalties has been something that's been happening for us really throughout the course of the year, and especially the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so to speak, or probably a little longer than that.
Does it feel like his fourth quarter and having him there with the presence that he has was a clear difference between what you see from him and Mike?
I wouldn't say the fourth quarter. It was one point where Mike had some crazy fourth quarter stat. I forget it right now. You know how we feel about stats. But I would say Kurt is just playing well. And I don't want to compare the two because he's playing so well. Like he's going out playing well. He's taking ownership of the offense. He's taking ownership of what he's doing. He has his process of how he gets there, and he's done a nice job of doing that. So I don't want to compare those guys because they both have a really good process. They both have done a nice job going out there getting stuff done. Some cases you want people to make plays around the other person even more. We made the plays this week, which was great, and that's really what you can kind of go on. Like we've had moments where Mike has looked great, a la New England, when him and Drake had that connection going. And then we've seen a very similar thing happen just last week with Kyle and Kirk, and it was awesome. So you just want to get more consistency with that going and get those guys out there at the same time. Get those guys, going like that all the time.
Yeah, Coach, could you, D. Alford had a big play too in that.
He did. Big interception.
For the fumble recovery. How's he been playing? What was happening on that play? And
the pick? You mean the pick? You're talking about the pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have his vertical jump?
I don't. It's funny. We actually made a joke about that. Kalo did not go to the combine and all that stuff, so I don't think he actually has a registered, vertical jump. It was a great job by scouting, going to find him and making him a part of it, and having to go through some of those growing pains that we saw last year that was much maligned for, right? But he's the great example of not giving up on a person and a player because they got some stuff in the box and some tools in the box, and watching him step in and play for Billy, has been delightful. And then to watch him make a play like that at the end of the game where he's just doing his job, being in the right spot, and then he supersedes his job by jumping up in the air, snatching the ball out the air, and making a play on an out being thrown to Mike, maybe 20 yards away from him. So I think he's just doing a great job. It was a great play by him, great anticipation, and definitely great jumping catch. And definitely set us up for the win. Another game ball candidate. You guys are nailing it today.
The Cardinals, what do you see in their offense? Brissett's taking over. They got Mike
I
Wilson.
think they were making big time plays and big time from.
We can listen to a little sports center, whatever that is. You want
I
to
don't
listen.
know what that was. But yeah, the tight end and Mike Wilson look like they are, they put up 20 points against Houston.
Yeah, man. Obviously, Brissett's been doing it for such a long time in this league, and the ultimate pro, comes in the game and just gets it done. I mean, I can still see the game, and when he came in versus me in Washington when I was out in L.A., I'm like, get him out of here, and as he just went out there and lit it up. He's a really good football player, has always been. I remember he was a young player. We went down and worked him out, and he was outstanding then. Great player. He really is. He really is the ultimate backup in his league, and he's been that for a long time, and go out there and get the job done. McBride, however, I watched him come in as a young player as well, and he has always been a guy. And this year it has really shown, and we got a chance to show the world on how talented and how good he is just at the game of football. He loves it. He plays it that way. He can block. He can be the focal point in the passing game. he does it all. He's a really good football player. Got a lot of respect for him. And then obviously the young kid Wilson, he's got some of those targets we talked about that we were able to feature, Kyle with this last weekend. And he stepped up to the challenge. And just watching him go out there and be heavily targeted that way, it tells you how they feel about him and their pecking order when he's got his opportunities. He got his opportunities, he made the most of them. And then, obviously, I don't know if their young man's coming back or not, but he's definitely the guy that you always got to, look out for and know where he's at because of the high level talent that he definitely possesses, and Marvin Harrison and those guys. And so they've done a nice job of getting those people involved and getting those guys going. And then obviously on defense, Buda Baker and that crew always going to play very hard. Buda's probably going to play the hardest you've ever seen with the consistency and the effort that he plays with all the time. Serious playmaker, has been since his college days, and still is.
Like anytime people look at records, Rod, the public's going to draw some conclusion to it. And football people like yourself don't necessarily do that. This is a Cardinal team that I think has been in 9 one-score games.
Oh, yeah.
And they've only won 2 of those. So they've been in the hunt with some of the teams that are going to be in the playoffs this year. Is that something you address with your team just to kind of remind them, hey, we're not just going out to enjoy the sun?
Oh, actually, there's no doubt about that. I don't think anybody knows it more than us. We've probably got a similar stat. If you go look at our stuff and what the score games were and how competitive they've been in going out and playing every single game and how important it is. And these guys, they're playing for each other. And I think that's the most important thing. And I think that showed on Thursday, and I think that'll show again this weekend with the way these guys are going out there and playing. They're playing for each other. They're playing, for what's next. And I love the mentality, set by Bijan. You're in there every single week and hear him talk to the football team, get an opportunity to talk to us. So, I think it's just something that's just in our guys to go out and play that way.
How do you avoid the, by the way, 2 and 5 in one score? How do you avoid the
stat man?
Yeah, I mean, you're on such an emotional high. It looks like everybody's sort of, breathed a collective sigh of relief, and now you still got to go play another team who's in the same role you are.
Yeah, it's
just trying to, for lack of a better way to phrase it, play out the rest of the string.
Sure.
It's not a spoil role for either one of these 2 teams in these games, but how do you avoid that letdown?
I think it's just the National Football League, man. It provides that for us every single week, that highly competitive mentality to be able to go out and compete against the best in the world every single week. And make no mistake about it, all the guys in this league and all the coaches in this league, they're the very best in the world. So, that process, going through everything that we're going to start this week and go through it with the guys and, set that up for success and to be able to go out there and get it done. So, all these challenges are going to help you moving forward. So, I think they provide a huge challenge for us. We don't get into the things that everybody else can get into. That's just not the nature of the beast for us because you got to go play. You're at risk for the same stuff no matter what you're playing for, and these guys know it.
Coach, kind of building on that, with some of the team goals off the table, do you find yourself kind of encouraging individuals to just go out and put together your best tape, put together your best game? Not to play selfish football, but, do you deliver a message of, guys, just go out there at this point and put together the best you can do?
I think I talk more about selfless football right now, going out there and playing for each other. I think that's what the guys are doing at a very high level. When you're talking about blocking, I'm thinking about, I know Kyle had this amazing game from a receiving standpoint and a production standpoint, but the only thing I could see is the shield off block that he made on the sideline. I think it was Bijan Robinson. It was one of the smartest plays. Got called the penalty. They made a mistake and picked it up. But I'm thinking about that type of a play, those type of efforts, things of that nature. You point those out to the guys, and those are the things that supersede anything else that we're talking about. We're talking about playing for each other because you can see the visual evidence on the grass when you're going to watch those guys play. I think it's absolutely phenomenal when you're watching those guys play that high, that fast for each other. There are a bunch of different examples. Caden Ellis, we talk about the Newsel play. We talk about, all the different plays that we can talk about. Alf making a couple plays that he made in the football game and doing different things like that. But watching a guy like Kobe Bryant get out there and have his first opportunity versus an all-world wideout and have some success but also have some failure, that is a part of it, man. That's the stuff you live for, and that's the stuff that you want to go out there and be able to do with those guys.
Raheem, when Kyle kind of steps up in this role, and you're saying, with Drake out, he's higher in the progression,
sure,
things like that. When a player has a performance like this, does that cause you to reevaluate when, say, Drake comes back? Hey, can we still find ways to put Kyle in this role? And using him as an example, but any player when they step up in a new role.
Well, that's the world every week, right, on offense, right? It's you got to get Bijan 20 carries, right? 20 plus carries, you know, and where he's going right now, you got to throw him the ball at least 7, right? And then Drake comes back, he's a 12 targeted guy, you know, and now Cal's a 10 targeted guy, you know, and then you want to find a way to get Mooney to rock down the field, get him his deep shots and do those things. It's always the issue. And then don't forget about, hey, you got to get the ball to Tyler, right? So it's like, those are always the issues. You know, a lot of time you like to go into and say it's going to be the hot man. You got to have a plan. You got to have your best plan of attack to go out there and attack the team that you're playing. And then when the guys get advantage, they take advantage of those targets. It really helps out to be able to put those, keep those guys in those roles and be able to do those things. So they know that. That's a part of what it is. That's always going to be a part of what it is. But there's going to be highly targeted guys, and Cal's definitely earned the right to be one of those highly targeted guys.
Just confirming Mike Hughes' status.
Mike Hughes is going to miss this week, you know, and I don't know. It's week to week to stick with my normal flow of things until I have some real information for you. But he'll miss this week.
There was an ankle.
Yes, there was a ankle sprain. I don't know. I'm actually going to a meeting in a minute about it to see get some more clarity on it. But it was an ankle sprain. Yes.
Anything else? Thanks, y'all.
All right.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.
You guys had a lot of questions.